What's up everybody, how are you all doing this fine evening? I'm doing well and I hope you're doing well as well. Last week we started with building a website in Etch, and today I want to look for something specific because there's something popping up here as well. Let's change that one. Because I'm very curious on how to build with components. I've seen Kevin doing it, but usually by seeing it, it doesn't mean that you understand how it works and that you can actually do it yourself. And that's something that I do want to try out today. So that's what we're going to look into, building a component in Etch. It also follows the next design kind of thing. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. Let's see if the chat is working. I see that we have something active, so it's nice. I didn't announce it anywhere, so I wonder if anybody sees it today, but it's fine, right? Hello, little brother, how are you doing? Just like I thought, the application isn't working, the chat application. So let me set that up real quick, and let's see if we can get it working. There it is, still turned off. It's what we do every stream, right? We check if everything is working. Now it looks like it's working. So let's, and the Twitch chat is also working, so that's nice. Let's give it another try, see if everything's working. Looks like something is working, so that's fine. I do get something like a glare here, but that's fine. Let's see, put that one there, that one there, and then suddenly I'm disconnected. This is really awesome. The tools that I'm working with are starting to collapse. They are raging against the screen. The machine, sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying out a little further away. We can also make it very, very, very close up if you'd like to. Also a different angle for the light. Now it's above. Usually I have it on the side a little bit. I just want to play around with it. I mean, that's what the things are for, right? Just testing out. Hey Dave, how are you doing? I loved your stream today. I didn't watch it fully because, as you saw during my live stream, your live stream, I'm sorry, as you saw me mention during your live stream, I was just 30 minutes before I was off of work, and then I just wanted to go. But a colleague of mine also had just a little tiny little baby. It was so cute, lying there in the what's it called? I don't know what's called in English. In Dutch, it's autostoeltje. I don't think it's called the same in English. It's like a baby chair for in the car that they can be transported. So yeah, it was very nice. It was so tiny. Oh, it's so cute. Instantly I got flashbacks because I have two young kids of myself as well, from 2 and 4 years old. So I went to say hi to her because she showed off the little kit that she produced, and it was very nice. A car seat, yeah, is it really that? The autofocus is great, yeah. It does a really good job, right? I'm also very happy. I can do this all day, by the way. I love doing this. I also love doing this. The focus on your finger, but it gets really dark. And then move it away, and then put it on there again. Reminds me again of a playful thing that I used to do. Let's see. I need to find a pencil. It looks like the pencil doesn't work, so I can't show it to you. But maybe next time. You have one. Let's see if this one works. Nope, they're all dried up, so it's it works. So during one of the first companies that I work at, and I got a little bit bored, or at the end, or it was just with with a few people, then I was like, say hello to Mr. Finger. Hello. And it was during a meeting. Luckily, it was with colleagues only, and they know that I'm not that serious all the time. So, hello to Mr. Finger. Can you imagine that just one person being talking like that? It's nice. The good old days when I was young, like 17 years ago, I guess. It's a really long time ago. You should do that as well, by the way, if you have some online conversations that you do certain things that are a little bit fun and a little bit quirky as well. But whatever the case, let's get back to the matter at hand. Let's go back to our screen share. There we go. It all works, I hope. I saw that there was an update available, so I ran that as well. And also want to show you something that I was working on. We have my basic website right here. And I've been working on that for just a couple of minutes in Bricks last year. And I want to do a do-over. I don't know. It doesn't have much on the website itself. It has some videos and some blog posts. But it doesn't get me any traffic, so I wouldn't care if it just faded away into the abyss. But what I do want to do is get more into tutorials. So here we have a few tutorials that I made for last time. And I want every video to have a transcript, but also a blog at a certain point. And that needs to be automated. So also for every live video, everything can be found back. And if you want something specific to look for, that you have a way to find it back. So that's my idea for the next website that I am currently building as well. But I will still want to use the basic structure that we have right here. I said doo-doo. So also hope to get more components in here that can be used across different page builders, because I have access to them, so I can try to get them in there. And I figured, I see that I am not completely on the right spot. Damn it! And I guess I moved myself or something. I think I moved the camera too much. I'm moving myself instead of the camera. Crazy. But that's why I love Etch as well, that you can just build out for one page builder and you have the HTML, CSS and JavaScript ready. And then for the other page builders, you can use it as well, because it's very easy to make it work for Bricks builders, because you can just copy and paste and then adjust accordingly. And then you can use it for, I don't know, Elementor as well. It's just a little bit of translation that needs to be done. So yeah, I am really psyched to get to working on that and have a layout that are what's it called? A multi-page builder, I guess. And hopefully at a certain time, somebody wants to work with me and I have this set up for that one, that somebody wants to pay me for having a community and things that you can build yourself, or having a community where I actively help out, and then we can see what a month of work brings you. But that's all for the future. If you'd like to see me to do that already, then leave a comment down below and maybe we can collaborate on something. But else, I want to show you this one, because I was working on getting it to work on Etch. So I've created the home page. And I think I did a pretty good job, if you ask me, to get it working from Etch itself. Just using the basic things to get it working. And did a pretty good job in copying this and that section. But I did it with a little challenge. A little challenge, you say? Oh, sorry. Yes, I did it with a little challenge, Finger. Because what I did is only using grid templates and grid itself instead of using Flexbox. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit more challenging because I haven't used it that much. I'm used to using Flexbox, but I know that grid is also very powerful. And if you look at the HTML elements that you need, I mean, this is just one div with an inner class, and then you have an accent, heading, text, link, and a video. You see that there's no other placeholder divs that needs to be added actually. But it requires a little bit of understanding how you can set it up. In this case, we have a column of 1 fraction and 3 fractions, which means that this is 1/4 and 3/4 of the total size. And then you also have the grid templates that are 4 columns with minimum content, which means that it doesn't get bigger, just only does the smallest part of everything. And that's what I did here. And then the rest of the spacing, it can be as much as needed. And this makes it very clean, but a very bigger hassle to set up. I also wanted to use grid template areas, because then you can, if you want to change a position, you don't have to change it in the structure. So the structure can be the same, but you can change it by just removing it in one place and then adding it into another. There we go. And as you can see, now we have changed the title, the heading, and the accent. And if we want to get it back, we can have it onto, and there we have it back. So you can easily change it just using CSS, which can be interesting if you're into that. But yeah, having a lot of fun with just trying out how can I get things to work with using grid templates, not going overboard. For instance, the cards still need to be a card, but the layout of the card can be determined by using a grid template. So still looking into that, but I just want to show you because I was really excited into understanding how grid templates work. And if you like to see me build out and teach a little bit about that as well, then leave a comment, because you never know. For the next part, let's take a look at the components. I can't wait to just have a look at the components, because I'm very guest performance of little thingy. So let's get into the component section. Because we were busy with building something. If I open Figma, I can show you as well that we were building a part of a website. And by the way, I'm curious, who's out there in the vast space of the internet? I see that there are a few people watching, and if you would like to say hi, I will be very grateful. But we're trying to recreate this section. You could add educational tag on Twitch, just a thought. Thank you. That will be, I will add that next time, not today, but I will do that. How do you add a hashtag? I don't know. Hi, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. So we were building out this website, and now we have come to this part where we are using some kind of card things, and then we could use a what's called component just to iterate on it. So let's go to the next part of it, and we have the heading right here. Oh, by the way, this reminds me, I've set this to flex, but we can do this now with grid, but we need to set the navigation to have max content instead of min content. But that's the other thing. Let's see, we can add another section in here. So we have a div container. We need to have another div container just for the cards. And in there we will have a card container. So this will be the cards. And this will be a card. So we have cards, which are a lot of cards. And then we have a card itself. I see that cards is now taking up a spot right here, because if we add a heading, you see that's in the middle, and that's something we don't want. I guess we set it up to be a grid. Yes, we did. So what we can do is just add a class by pressing Ctrl Enter and then say dot and then call these cards, because that's what they are. They are cards. And they get a... I know that maybe, perhaps, this is the best way of using CSS, but it's what I can figure out right now. And if it doesn't work, we can change it afterwards as well. It doesn't need to be perfect in one go, please. Please try out things before you get overloaded with all kinds of information, that you just understand how the basics of CSS works. And there's a thing called refactoring, where you want to refactor what you've built, because quite possibly the first time around you didn't build it perfectly, and you're getting better at it every time you build something. So keep that in mind. It doesn't need to be perfect the first time. You can always optimize later, if there's time, of course, which I am learning right now during my day job as well. Let's see. So for this, I want this to be a grid. What was it called? Area? I guess so, right? Of 1, because then it starts in the first row, and then -1. Because then it's all the way across. No, this is 1, and then 2. This is the column, so to see. And this is then the row. So we need to start at 3 and then 1. So the third column, and then the third row and the first column. And then we need to add where it will end. So it will end at -1 and -1. I don't know. I see. So this one's also for the row and this one's for a column. So we can start and end at 3, but it needs to be all the way across. And as you can see, there we have it. So now we can build out the rest of the cards. So this will also be a grid, display grid. Just let's make it easier for myself, right? Display flex. No, because I want the cards not to be determined by the size of itself, but it should be determined by me. Display grid. It will be a grid template columns of grid months. I think 3. Oh, should it be rows? Or am I mistaking how this works? Columns? I don't think so. And then we can just duplicate these a few times. And then nothing happens. Why doesn't anything happen to me? Ah, we duplicated cards. But I just want to duplicate card. And there we go, 3 cards. Hi, hello Jonathan, how are you? I saw today that Canada is already selling Halloween decor. Well, it's summer, hey? Yeah, that's wild. But it happens once in a while, right? All right. Let's go back to our Figma file. We have a heading and we have a text. So let's add that one before we continue with this one. Let's select our card and put in our text as well. So now we have the default setup that we want. I think I also want to have some kind of gradient and some kind of background image to just show the card itself. But that can be managed in a card, because what we can do is have the background image separate from a background overlay. If I remember correctly, you can set up multiple background layers, but we need to figure that out, because I'm not that into this, because I'm using Elementor for my day job, and then you can just set a background overlay. The same with bricks, by the way, if I remember correctly. But we can do this with a pseudo element as well, so we don't need to add anything other than this. Great question, by the way, Jonathan. How are you finding Etch so far? To me, it feels very nice. It feels nice to dive into CSS and HTML again. HTML not so much, so that's why I like that these are here, because usually you use the same diffs over and over again. But what I do like is that you can just play with CSS and see everything coming alive. Also, if I'm tired of doing it in Etch, I can just open up a CodePen and put it in CodePen itself. Just like we did right here, that we can just copy and paste whole sections in there if we want to. And that's something I really like, just like these scroll animations that you see right here. I copied and paste this directly into EtchWP and it worked. So that's why I like Etch so much, to be fair. And that's something I did miss, but I don't want to create the whole theme setup going, because that's, to me, just tiresome. Let's see, I hit that one. Yeah, we can do that later. Yeah, so that's it actually. I like it as I learn in code today, looking at CSS with SCSS. Nice. Oh, my nose is itching. Oh. I have that sometimes. And I was really itching, by the way, in my nose. Query tokening, all right. If you say so, Jonathan, I don't know what you're referring to, but I believe you, buddy. Let's see. We add another one, and then we add a class right here. Card heading text. Yeah, that feels right. We create a BAM, and now we have a nice card. I see that there's already some CSS added by default, but I don't see it reflected anywhere. I am assuming that there's part of a CSS. I do have it installed, but I don't see the settings panel. Or am I just crazy? I think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Let's see. We can just go in here and type in lorem. Lorem ipsum. Ipsum, there we go. Lopsum. Lorry lopsum. Lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum. And then some lorem ipsum subtext. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, mate. Isn't there like a shortcut for this? Let's see. Do we need to open up the HTML? Does it only work in the HTML editor? It does work there. Ipsum short. There we go. Look at that. That's awesome. Add, and then you see all kinds of recipes that you can use. It's used as well for what's called for recipes with the add symbol, add sign. Whoa. I think it has to do something with tokens in a query. Oh, buddy. So you can use the same token as of CSS again and again. So it's dynamic. Ah, I see. Yeah, all right. But in SCSS. I don't know what the difference is. You're actually referring to variables, I guess, right? Like var color or color gray, something like that. Those are tokens. But I don't know what querying is. Looping it as well. Ah, I see. Awesome. We can do that in Etch. I didn't know. Something to find out next time. Let's see. So we have a card right here. We have a heading and we have a text. And I also want to add a background in here. So let's see if we can do that. Background of dash image. And oops, that needs to be a URL. And this needs to be dynamic. I don't know if Etch already supports dynamic background images. That's something that I need to figure out. Looping as well. Yes, all right. Let's find out one day. Maybe you can teach me, Jonathan. That would be nice. You mean yes in dash dash? It is actually what you meant. But they are called variables, not tokens, if I remember correctly. In design space, they use tokens like that, right? Because it's reusable. It's a reusable token. But in development, I know it as a variable. staying away from cam until I'm very good at this. You shouldn't. You see me playing around and destroying things and not knowing anything that I'm doing right now. And that's what's great about this one. Because I want to learn together with you guys who are interested, I hope. I mean, I see a few people watching. So why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. What I do need is to have an image. A lorem image. There's also a lorem pixum. Look at that. We can have different kind of sizes. We can close up CodePen because we don't need it. Let's get back in here. Look at that, a nice little image. And it disappears when I hover. That's the downside, I guess, of using ACSS and don't know what's the setup by default, because a lot of things are happening. I didn't set it up at all. But what we also don't want is the background dash repeat should be none. No, wait, no repeat, sorry. I saw Etch and had to join. I understand. You're so interested. I'm glad. We can do that next week then. Background position should be center. And then center, so that we align everything together. Can we also do by just one center? Yes, we can. And then with background the size, we can say cover. And there we have a nice little cover. It's not the most beautiful image, but it gets the functionality across. Now we have everything. What the hell is happening here? This is not that awesome. There's a bug at the moment. Just report and they can look at it. I don't think it's a bug. I think it has to do with ACSS and me misunderstanding on what we need ACSS for. I also don't see the ACSS logo. Usually you see it, right? Let's get into the editor because I really want to figure it out. It's already getting me a little bit annoyed. But yeah, automatic CSS and it's active. Ooh, I didn't know if it shows my license, so I quickly need to switch screens. Let's see, add license. It's not active. How much code do you... there's a bug at the moment. How much code you use in Elementor? Not that much, to be fair. We have plenty of add-ons that does a lot of things that we want to do. I use a lot of CSS to just make the accents and the markings in a different color. If we look at this website that I made with Elementor, I mean, not a lot of CSS is needed, only to show this one, and I used a little bit JavaScript to make changes and to have these markings to be exact, the size, and also rescale depending on where it's used. But that's basically it. And other than that, I don't need a lot of coding. Even with more difficult projects, there's just a little bit of coding going on just for filtering, but it's not necessary for Elementor. It's usually also for the WP Grid Builder, for an example, to make things work specifically for the cases that we want to use it for. Yeah. Oh, I'm working on a very big project right now for a heritage website. It's called Brabants Erfgoed. Whew. It has more than 1,500 articles, and yeah, I'm working on getting this a nice looking design and also be more flexible. I'm using Elementor for that. I'm very excited to show that, but it can only be done after it is finished. At least that's my thinking. Let's see. And there we are. So see, this is still happening, and this is because card is, I guess, something that is already taken by ACSS, and I don't see the ACSS logo anywhere. And I really don't know how to open up a CSS as well, because then we can disable the card feature. So it is what it is. It's a little bit annoying, to be fair, because I don't know, because a lot of these things now get removed, whilst I don't want that to happen. So what we can do is something like this, which means that we don't need to add another class for it. It's nested CSS, and I am used to using that in SDSS, but it's now available in vanilla CSS as well. Oh, it's awesome. Let's see, and we can do something like this so it doesn't change anything. And there we go, now it's still, we fixed it. So next up is to have some kind of spacing, that we have a little bit of room to show the image and then the text move to the bottom. Because of ACSS, we don't need to set up the border radius, we don't need to set up the spacing in the card itself. That's already done for us. The only downside is now that every card has this same image. So that's something that we need to look into when we're creating a component. Should we make it an image then? In that case, that would be weird, right? CSS nesting, awesome. Yeah, it keeps, yeah, for sure. I'm so happy that all these things are in there. So you used absolute CSS with your image, I'm guessing. No, I'm using it as a background image. I don't see a CSS bold left icon. You have old edge. No, this is the latest one, the latest version. Maybe if we refresh it. Because if we look in the backend, we see that automatic CSS is enabled, so and installed and activated. I can show it again. When I go to license, it says active on this website. And the website is EtchWP. And the place where I'm building is also EtchWP. So no clue. No clue why it's not showing up. Could be a bug, who knows. But let's continue. We're going to add a class that we can create a little bit spacing to the top. So that will be, should I do a margin or a padding inside? I guess it will be a padding, right? We can be even very specific, padding top of 20 view height, maybe a little bit more. That looks just a little bit taller. We could also do this with aspect ratio of 9 by 16. And then we have a very big one. 3 by 4 is more square, I can guess. Ooh, this looks better. And then we can set, yeah, this should be going to the top, by the way, that we have everything nice stacked together. Aspect ratio 3 by 4. Display should be grid, and then place content bottom, or is it flex end? Yeah, there we go. So everything is placed at the bottom, and because we're using the card to define what color the text needs to be, now because we're using a dark background, I want the text to be white. And I saw something with a style function that Kevin Gear used, and I am interested in that, but we'll do that as a refactor and not for now. So what we can do is color and then dash white for access to ACSS, and there we go. I see that the heading doesn't want to be coherent, so that's a little bit of shame. So what we can do is go in here and then say current color should be capital. Oh. Now my cursor is gone. Current color. And that doesn't seem to work. So we can also change this to be white. If I write it correctly. Oh, my nose is itching again. I think I have a hair somewhere on my nose. So one moment, please. Where I put myself full screen. I don't need to record. I just want to do this. For a little while, you don't see me because, oh, it's itching. God damn. And we're back. Be right back. All right, see you soon, Jonathan. But we see that the color is not getting it. What's happening here? What's overriding that I have to set the color right here? That's a little bit big scratch. Yeah, hopefully that works. I think I also have just one very tall hair that's just itching my nose. Do you have that sometimes? A very itchy hair in your nose? Also, I would like to see if color text. No, that's not right. Color text is not the right word for it, Jonathan. Let's see. I'm curious if, because I'm seeing that I'm also streaming to X, but I can't. Oh, it is working. No, awesome. So hi people on X. Looks like it does work. Can I send myself a message? Hello, Alex. Yeah, I can, but it doesn't show up anywhere else. Ah, it does. Ooh, that's awesome. Hello, Twitter. X-Twitter. Ooh, what's called? I go PC and phone. I watch PC. And then phone. Phone home. Twitter home phone. All right, let's get back into this. So we have our background image, but we need some kind of gradient happening at the bottom right. Ooh, that would be interesting. Let's see, we can do something like this. Then we have TypingMind open. TypingMind is an AI-like agent. We can also, let's keep it as is. We can use Gemini and then ask for, could you create CSS for, Claude would be better, right? Do we have access to Claude? Claude Sonnet, there we go. Create CSS with progressive blur being stronger at the bottom and being more blurred at the bottom and not blurred at the top. Let's see what's happening. I haven't added my Claude Sonnet API key. I will do that for next week. Let's give Gemini Pro a spin, right? Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, I'm there. By the way, with Elementor, I'm using a lot of CSS just to get the sections working right? That's what I also did right here. And that's why Elementor, the version that we currently have, is a little bit frustrating because for each section, I have made a specific class that's called section. Let's scroll a little bit down because my computer doesn't like it when I'm using video, I guess. It's getting very, very tough. Let's see, can we do something with that? It's faster? Yep. No, not really. Oh, damn. Stream dying. Oh, no. Yeah. It looks like my PC is having a very hard time right now. Do we need to close that? Let's see what helps, what we need to close. We can close Figma as well. We don't need that right now. And task. Maybe stream to every platform. Too rough on the PC. I don't know, because it's via stream. A very light streaming service. What we can do is just close some things and hopefully that will help. But I also see it reflecting in my input right there. So something is bottling up my everything. So yeah, doesn't work. It's getting better. I don't know. No, it's not getting better. So we can just close more windows and maybe also close the projectoring. Sorry, we have some difficulties. So we'll do it something like this and hopefully it gets a little bit better at some point. In the meantime, I will be looking at what we can do to disable it. What? We're not ending the stream. We're also not starting the stream. We're just right here. Looks like it's getting better. Let's see what happens, right? We have it open there. Should be better. That's what happens. Sometimes. Still looks rough. What does OBS tell you? OBS doesn't tell me anything. Everything is okay. Okie dokie. CPU is even running at 7.5%, so it shouldn't be a problem. Sound is still fine. So maybe it's my camera. I can just turn it off and on and see if that helps a little bit. Maybe it's overheating. So let me try that. No, it doesn't look like it's happy. All right, let's maybe it's only the camera. Yeah, I think so. The camera is not happy about it. So we turn off the camera for now. That's it. You will not see my face in a little while, maybe later. But if the sound is okay, we can still continue with this. That should be fine. Because now we have our card ready right here. And what we can do now is look into our typing mind. What did it come up with? It uses a progressive blur container. It has a cover, a box shadow, and here's the progressive blur itself, and we have it as a pseudo element. So let's see how that. So no cam for now. Yeah, a pseudo element with a linear gradient, and this is the magic part. A mask that's transparent. I'm very curious. Do we have something that we can work with immediately? That would be awesome. I need to copy all of this. That should be fine. And let's get back in here. And then we add another pseudo element called after. And paste it in. And now I have copied too much. So we need to remove some things. It is an after. Oh, look at that. That looks nice. But we need to change the Z index, I can imagine. Because we want our contents to be on top. So Z index of 1 of 0. This is after. We can also set this as before. I would imagine that it would work like that. Background inherent. So we need to add another pseudo. Oh, this is very awesome, right? That we can just select it and then make it smaller so that everything is readable and still manageable. So for this card, we want everything that's in there. No, we don't want everything that's in there. We want our H2 and P tag to have a Z index 2. And there we go. Now it's on top of our blurred layer. Now we can play around with the blur, because it doesn't look like it's very harsh, if you ask me. So let's make that really harsh. Oh, look at that. Thousand. Blur only applies to this pseudo element. And everything behind it. Look at that. It's a very nice gradient. Actually, transparent. The top is 20%. It's completely clear. Ah, I see. And black fades to fully blurred at the bottom. To bottom. And we here can set the height. So it could be 80%, 20. It's from the top, I guess. So this always needs to be at the bottom. And then we can set it maybe to 25%, something like that, or 50. So it gets halfway across, and this is better readable. Look at that. That looks awesome. It's a very trendy thing, by the way, this kind of thing. So 0%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. We also have WebKit mask. Ah. Look at that, influencing where the blur starts. So I think 20% is great to start there. And we have a nice C index. So that's awesome. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show, this is the main reason why I have a little freaking hate for Elementor right now. Because I need to use CSS to adjust the styling for, let's see, all these sections. So for each section, I've set up a specific class, so that every section, if I want to change the distance between them, I can do that in one go. And I'm using a class called section for it, but yeah, here we have it, section and section. So on every section of on the page, I use a class called section. And the way I do this is using WP Codebox, who coincidentally also sponsored this this video. And WP Codebox is a really easy way to manage your snippets. And what I really love about them, it's a shame that you can't see my your live running slow. Damn. It really is running slow, right? What's happening? Everything should be fine. Let me try to reconnect. And hopefully this will help. I don't see anything on my side, by the way, that this is running slow or not running at all. Now it has completely stopped.